So for the longest time, I've been using the larger Apple Watches, and I always ended up going with the 45 or the 46, and basically the biggest Apple Watch that they had that year. And then when the Ultra came out, I'd gone to the Ultra and I've stuck to it ever since then. But somewhere along the way, my perspective started to change a bit. You see, I no longer wanted the largest and biggest screen that I could get my hands on for the money. In fact, I downgraded my laptop size from 16-inch to 14-inch. I downgraded my iPad Pro size from 12.9 to 11-inch. And this year, finally, I even downgraded my iPhone size from the Pro Max 6.9-inch monster to the 6.5-inch Pro. And now I finally want to do the same with the Apple Watch. Okay, so in this video, we're gonna go ahead and unbox this brand new Series 10 42mm Apple Watch, which is the smaller size, and compared to the 46mm Apple Watch, which I've been using for the past 2-3 weeks, as well as the 49mm Ultra 2. Okay, let's get into this. I'm actually excited for this, so we're gonna go ahead and unbox this thing. Okay, so the finish that I got in this was the titanium, the slate titanium with the Milanese loop. I have the jet black aluminum watch as well. I actually did a comparison between the slate titanium and the jet black aluminum, and I shared my thoughts over on the video. I'll have it linked somewhere over here, so if you guys have time, then go ahead and check that out after this if you're interested. So here we go. We have our Apple Watch and our strap. So here are the two watches. Okay, so this is the 42mm, the smaller one, and this is the 46mm Apple Watch, and this is the size difference. Now you can see the screen sizes between both of these. When you actually put them side by side, there does seem to be a noticeable difference here. I mean, that's actually pretty big. So let's go ahead and throw these on my wrist. That's what I'm most excited and interested to see. So here's a look at the actual Apple Watch on my wrist. You see how the smaller 42mm just sits so nice on my wrist. I feel like it just complements my wrist size so much better. And even when I'm using it, even when I'm out and about, this thing just looks a little more classier, a little more elegant, and it doesn't look like in-your-face screen. I don't know how to explain it. Let's go ahead and throw on the 46mm and I'll show you how different that looks. So take a good look at this. Now take a look at this. Okay, you see how much different the entire wrist profile with this watch is? Like the entire wrist is pretty much screen now, right? So even if I'm like sitting here and I'm just like talking to you or whatnot, if I get a notification, the whole world's seeing my notification, right? But just look how big that looks. Also, if you notice, like, I don't know if you guys have this like little bone that protrudes. I think everyone should. I mean, we're all, I guess, human, unless I have like weird wrists or something. But like this bone, like it annoys me here with the larger Apple Watch because it kind of raises the top end of the 46mm, which I don't feel with the 42mm. So this is how the 46mm looks on the wrist. Now, just for comparison's sakes, I'm also gonna throw on the Apple Watch Ultra 2. Man, I absolutely love this new Milanese loop for the Apple Watch Ultra 2. What a beauty. And this is the Apple Watch Ultra 2. Now this is also really big. You can see how it literally eclipses my entire wrist, but I don't know, there's something about this watch. It gives that chunky Casio vibe to it, right? Like, so even if you just see it on my wrist here, it looks like, yo, this guy probably hits the gym, this guy's sporty, you know, I probably not. Sure, it's large, it's big, but I feel like it kind of just blends with the style of the watch because we're used to seeing this kind of watch with the Casios, the Casioks, and all sorts of other watches that have done this style. This has always been one of the staples in the watch community of wearing some of these like larger style watches. So I think it works. I can tell you from my wrist size of 6.5 inches, definitely the smaller 42mm looks better. Look how my wrist actually frames this watch a little bit better versus with this one, even though it's higher up on my wrist, so I should have more wrist thickness over here, but it's literally taking up the entire wristband over here. That's less than ideal because I kind of want my watch to be framed by my wrist and not the watch to be the wrist. I don't know if that makes sense. Okay, so let's go ahead and actually compare some things here, okay? So I wanna see, for example, app icons and stuff. Okay, yeah, so there is a difference in size in terms of app icons. You still see 3 and 4 across the board over here. You still see 3 and 4 across the board over here. So it's pretty much the same It's just these icons are a little bit smaller. The other thing I wanted to see, now I know probably like maybe 2 out of 10 people in their life have probably used the browser on their Apple Watch, but let's go ahead and actually see how that kind of looks like. Out of the 3, I think the Ultra does naturally have the most. I can see the Moon Watch written down here much more easily compared to here. It's cut off a little bit more, and over here it's similarly cut off, but I can see a little more Moon Watch on this. That part we kind of anticipated, but who's gonna be browsing the website on their 46mm or 42mm Apple Watch? Now in terms of screen brightness, I believe they're all pretty much the same. You have up to 2000 peak brightness in terms of nits, so you don't really have any difference there. Now the other thing that I wanted to check was actually using the keyboard. Now I don't usually use a keyboard on these Apple Watches, but let's go ahead and humor it, okay? I'm on my way. I'm on my way. Okay, it is a little bit tougher, I will say. Where did my ABCs go? I mean, surprisingly, it's not too bad. It's not too shabby. I was able to type it out, or you probably want to do swipe typing if you're gonna be doing this. So let's see how that works. I'm on my way. Okay, yeah, that worked a lot better, a lot quicker. There we go, I had that typed there. And I'm gonna try to do the same thing on my bigger Apple Watch 46mm. Definitely feels easier to use. The keyboard's a little bit bigger, as you can tell. So I'm gonna go ahead and say, I'm on my way. Yeah, okay, that's quite a bit easier. Let's go ahead and swipe type, I'm on my way. Yeah, I like it. I think if you're gonna be typing on this Apple Watch at all, you're probably gonna like the experience on the larger 46mm. What about the Ultra with the 49mm Ultra watch? Let's go ahead. Oh, nice and big. There you go, I'm on my way. What about swipe typing? Okay, so swipe typing seems to be the easiest on any of these watches, so I would probably stick with that. But look, honestly, if you're a big typer on your Apple Watch, then sure, go for the bigger ones. But if you're not, then you could very well be fine with a smaller 42mm. The other thing that I wanted to test was, is there a speaker difference between these watches? Because now with the Series 10 Apple Watch and the new Apple Watch Ultra 2, you can actually play podcasts or music or anything like that out loud from the actual speakers. Okay, so first I'm gonna play it on my 46mm Apple Watch.
Joe Rogan Podcast, check it out.
The Joe Rogan Experience.
Train by day, Joe Rogan Podcast. Mike!
What's happening? What's up, brother? How you doing, my friend?
Okay, now the 42mm.
Rogan Experience Review Podcast. We find little nuggets, treasures, valuable pieces of gold in the Joe Rogan.
So in my experience, they're both pretty much the same, surprisingly, because I actually expected the larger Apple Watch to be a little bit louder. However, it's not. It's pretty much on par with the smaller Apple Watch. So if you're kind of swayed either which way because of the speaker size, don't be, because they're both pretty much the same. Same thing goes with the Ultra as well, which I tested out in my other video. Okay, now speaking of watches, you also want to watch out for, smoke or fire at your house. Tell me that was the smoothest integration, because today we're going to be talking about the sponsor of today's video, which is Xsense. And this is basically a Wi-Fi combination smoke and carbon monoxide alarm. Let's say you decide to, try your hand at frying some samosas, then you start, smoking up the entire place, and then beep, 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 fire alarm goes off, and, everybody at home is panicking. They're like, yo, what are you doing? And then you end up running to try to basically fan the smoke away from the fire alarm. You're opening windows, you're opening doors, you're turning on fans, right? Just to get rid of the smoke. Well, guys, the good news is with this, you don't have to worry about that, because this is all app controlled. You can just jump into your phone and be like, hey, it's all good, I'm just cooking, and just turn it off from your phone. And if you want to take this to the next level, they also have a Protect Plus plan, which will basically send you a notification within 3 seconds of something happening. Once you confirm or deny, it will dispatch fire services ASAP. But the other thing I really like about this is I don't have to use those like funky cables and wire and plug in and all of that stuff. With this, all you gotta do is take this plate, drill it into the wall, and go ahead and just click this in. You don't have to do complicated cabling and wiring, and then you pair it with your phone in the app, and then it automatically connects to Wi-Fi and you're good to go. So some cool features, and I think it's something that you should definitely check out if you don't have one at home. So I'll have this linked in the description down below. Now let's get back to watching my video. So here's how I see it, okay? Both of these Apple Watches. Being an Apple Watch user for the past, like ever since the first gen Apple Watch came out, I've been an Apple Watch user. So this is my experience. I feel like it's just not as cool anymore to have a huge screen strapped onto your wrist. It's the same reason why I've switched to daily driving like mechanical watches, which is what I usually use now, but I'll make a video on that separately. There's definitely benefits to having a smartwatch, and I feel like having a little more unobtrusive watch that doesn't scream smartwatch would be nice. Nowadays, everything is getting bigger. I just want things to be a little more cleaner, neater, you know, a little more tucked away. Now, my opinion is even if you did have a slightly bigger wrist compared to mine, the shape of the smaller 42mm Apple Watch just looks better in the smaller size. Now, actually comparing all three of these watches and wearing them at several different times throughout my history with Apple Watches, I feel like even if your wrist is bigger, the shape of the regular Apple Watches, the ones that look like this, so the Series 10 Apple Watch, it just looks better in a smaller size. The regular Series 10 is more of a classy sort of everyday wearing watch. Like that's what the shape kind of reminds me as. Versus if you did want something a little bit chunkier, a little bit bigger, the sort of rugged Casio look and feel, then the Ultra lends itself much more to that sort of image. And even though technically it is bigger than the 46mm Apple Watch, like this Ultra is 49mm, I think it actually looks better than the 46mm Apple Watch. It just kind of really leans into what it's meant to do best. Look big, look chunky, look, you know, that certain set of aesthetic. So my opinion would be if you do want a larger Apple Watch, you want that bigger screen, then go with the Apple Watch Ultra 2. I think that would be my choice because between the 46 and the 42, I think if you're gonna go with the regular S10 Series 10 Apple Watch, then I think the smaller size would probably be better for most of the wrists out there. Because at the end of the day, what do you even need the big screen for? Like this is more so a everyday jewelry piece sort of wear. That's what watches have traditionally been. So don't you want something that would kind of frame your arm a little bit better? I don't know, that's just my thinking. I could be wrong, let me know in the comment section down below. Now, where this does kind of play with in your mind is the price difference. Look, for $429, you can get the larger 46mm or $399 for the smaller 42mm. And when you start going down that route and thinking in terms of bang for buck and what you're getting for the money you pay, it's like, why don't I just pay the 30 bucks more and get the bigger size and, you know, the bigger screen? And it just feels more of a bargain compared to spending just 30 bucks less and getting a smaller screen. I feel like growing up, I kind of was led to believe that, you know, go for the thing that's bigger for better value, get the most you can for your money. And that's why, like, when it came to like TV screens or laptop screens or iPads, I always kind of just ended up going bigger because I wanted that bigger, nicer screen. But I think things are changing now. I don't know, what do you guys think? Have you guys seen that kind of rhetoric change a little bit? I also think that there's a beauty in wearing something that's more tailored to you and your body, even if it's a smaller size and you don't get as much of a price bargain for it. The 42mm, in my opinion, is the most comfortable and perfect sized Apple Watch for most people and for most wrists out there. If you have a really large hand, then sure, go for the 46mm. But I'd say that's a minority. I think for the most part, majority of the people out there will be happy with the 42. Now look, there are certain times where I think the 46mm does make a little bit more sense, and that's because if you have issues seeing close distance. So if you have family members that need, like, you know, reading glasses and they're not able to read, then maybe going with a larger Apple Watch might be pretty handy, and they still prefer the look and feel of the regular Series 10 Apple Watch to the Apple Watch Ultra, then in that case, it just makes more sense to go with the 46. And look, at the end of the day, it's preference. Some people will actually like that entire look of that bigger screen on their wrist. They want to seem more techie. They want to seem like, you know what, they can do a lot more with their wrist. Or maybe they just want a bigger screen. Maybe they use a lot of apps on their watch, and maybe they browse the internet on there. I don't know what you're doing on there. And I'm sure there's people watching this video that will not even consider the smaller Apple Watch. And I'll be honest, for most of my life up until now, that was also me. So no judgment here at all. It's definitely a look, and sometimes you just want the biggest screen possible because you're paying money for it and you want to maximize what you're going to get for your dollar. And plus, maybe you use your Apple Watch much more than I did for, you know, certain apps and certain different things that you want to do with your Apple Watch, so you like the bigger screen. So sure, at the end of the day, this is just my opinion. In any case, let me know in the comment section down below which size you guys actually prefer, the 42mm, the 46mm, or Are you guys going Apple Watch Ultra 2 with the 49mm beast? Let me know in the comment section down below, and until then, I will see you guys in one of these two videos here.